Jay Leno and Mavis Leno's love story did not begin under bright studio lights or red carpets. It started quietly in the 1970s, when Jay was a struggling comedian performing at small clubs in Los Angeles, trying to find his voice in a crowded comedy scene. Mavis was in the audience one night, observant, intelligent, and grounded in a way that immediately caught Jay's attention. Their connection was not built on fame or ambition, but on shared values and mutual respect. They married in 1980 and chose a life that was unusually calm for Hollywood standards. There were no tabloid scandals or dramatic public feuds, only a steady partnership rooted in loyalty and humor. Jay often joked that marrying Mavis was the smartest decision he ever made, long before life would test that promise in ways neither of them could have imagined. A marriage built on respect and quiet strength. From the beginning, Jay and Mavis built their marriage on acceptance rather than expectation. Mavis was clear that she did not want children, and Jay respected her honesty without pressure or resentment. Their days were simple and deeply personal, filled with conversation, shared routines, and a strong sense of partnership. Mavis was politically active, outspoken, and passionate about social issues, while Jay listened attentively, valuing her perspective and intelligence. They supported each other's interests without needing to live loudly or prove anything to the outside world. Their relationship thrived on being present with one another rather than chasing public approval. Over the years, Jay would often say that Mavis was his moral compass, the person who made him want to be better. At the time, it sounded like affectionate humor. Later, it would reveal itself as a profound truth. Small changes became impossible to ignore. The first signs that something was wrong came quietly, almost invisibly. Mavis began misplacing items, repeating questions, and losing track of conversations she once led with ease. Jay noticed these changes immediately, but tried not to panic. Like many couples, he hoped it was stress or simple forgetfulness. Over time, however, the lapses became more frequent and more unsettling. Words disappeared mid-sentence, familiar faces became unfamiliar, and routines that once felt natural grew confusing. Eventually, doctors confirmed the diagnosis Jay had feared but tried to avoid: a severe form of dementia, medically classified as major neurocognitive disorder. The news was devastating. Jay understood that this illness would slowly reshape their lives, altering not only Mavis's memory but also the future they had imagined together. Yet even in that moment, he made a quiet, unwavering decision to stay fully present. Choosing responsibility. When walking away is easier. In early 2024, Jay made the difficult decision to file for conservatorship over Mavis's affairs. To outsiders, the legal term sounded cold, even alarming. For Jay, it was an act of protection. Mavis, once fiercely independent and sharp-minded, could no longer safely manage medical decisions or daily responsibilities. Jay stepped in not to control her life, but to preserve her dignity. He took on a role he never anticipated, becoming not just a husband, but a guardian. He made sure her care was compassionate, her environment calm, and her routines familiar. This decision was not about power or publicity. It was about love, adapting to reality. Jay understood that protecting Mavis now meant speaking for her when she could not, and standing between her and a world that might not understand her vulnerability. The quiet reality of being a full-time caregiver. Jay's daily life transformed in ways few people ever see. He became Mavis's full-time caregiver, attending to tasks that demanded patience, humility, and emotional strength. He helped her dress, reminded her how to brush her teeth, prepared her meals, and guided her carefully through the house when her balance faltered. When she became too tired to walk, he carried her gently, using humor to ease moments that could otherwise feel heavy. These acts were not dramatic or public. They were deeply private expressions of devotion. Jay never framed them as sacrifices. In interviews, he simply said, "This is what marriage means." On the hardest days, when Mavis woke up frightened or confused and failed to recognize him, Jay focused on her comfort rather than his own heartbreak. His love became less about being remembered and more about being present. Holding on to connection when memory fades. To preserve their bond, Jay tried every gentle method he could think of. He used photo cards from their early years, hoping familiar images might spark recognition. He played music she once loved and rewatched old films that brought her a sense of calm. He dressed in clothes she used to compliment and spoke to her with the same warmth he always had, even when she could not respond. Jay read her news articles because she had once been deeply engaged with politics. He watched travel videos with her when real trips became impossible. Sometimes she laughed, sometimes she didn't. Still, he continued. Jay believed that even when memory fades, emotion remains. Even if Mavis could not name him, he trusted that she could still feel safety, kindness, and love, and that belief guided every interaction they shared. Protecting her from a world that never stops watching. Friends who visited noticed a change in Jay. He was still kind and occasionally humorous, but quieter, more protective. He watched Mavis closely, adjusting lights, blankets, and surroundings to prevent confusion or distress. He shielded her from crowds, cameras, and anything that might overwhelm her. The public figure disappeared at home. What remained was a husband devoted entirely to his wife's well-being. Jay did not turn his pain into headlines or seek sympathy. He did not dramatize his role. He simply lived the vows he made decades earlier. While many people know Jay Leno as a television icon or car enthusiast, those closest to him saw a different version, one defined by tenderness and patience. It became clear that his greatest strength was not his career success, but his ability to love without needing recognition in return. Dementia, loss, and the meaning of staying. Dementia is often described as a thief, slowly stealing memories, personality, and independence. In Jay and Mavis's home, it has taken pieces of the woman Jay fell in love with. Yet Jay refuses to see her as gone. He talks to her as if she understands. He laughs with her even when her reactions are delayed. He kisses her forehead even when she does not recognize the gesture. Jay believes love does not disappear simply because memory does. This belief allows him to face daily grief without bitterness. Their story is undeniably sad, but within that sadness is something deeply meaningful. Jay's refusal to withdraw, his willingness to carry the emotional weight of loss alone, and his quiet resilience reveal a kind of heroism rarely celebrated. Sometimes love means staying when everything familiar is slowly slipping away. Jay Leno's greatest legacy. Jay Leno's life includes extraordinary achievements, from a legendary television career to one of the most impressive car collections in the world. Yet none of those accomplishments define him as clearly as the way he has loved Mavis through the most painful chapter of her life. He has shown that real commitment is not measured during moments of success, but during times of decline. He mourns the experiences they can no longer share, the travels she once loved, and the conversations that shaped their bond. Still, he adapts, finding new ways to bring her comfort and joy. In doing so, Jay reminds the world that love is not about being remembered, but about remembering your promises. His devotion stands as a powerful reminder that true partnership does not end when life becomes difficult. It deepens, quietly and faithfully, every single day.